So just tell me, like, what has your experience been like so far?
So the leads come across their web leads. So, as can be expected, you're going to have some that are bogus like anything else. And so I actually did get one that followed up, gave me his new phone number. Just call through the leads. It's, like any other kind of web lead, you have to call the leads. And so I do that. And then, it just kind of, it's a whole different type of call than final expense.
Mhm.
It's completely different. So I
Like,
really
just
like
tell
it,
me, like, just,
yeah.
I guess, give me an example of, what the difference might be.
So it seems like with the final expense, there's so many people calling them, so they're immediately like, I don't have it, I'm not interested, I already have insurance, or yeah, I called because your ad said this, and they're interpreting the ad wrong, and they're complaining about the ad to me, and it's like, okay, whatever, and it
Yeah.
just, and they're grumpy a lot of times or whatever. I mean, not that they all are. I mean, I love helping the ones that need help and want help, but it's just completely different because you call these people and they actually answer their phone. The ones that are serious, they'll, and I find that usually the ones that are going to do something or that you are going to reach will answer probably in the fourth or fifth attempt. And then
Hmm.
you just start calling the right time of day. After
Yeah.
that, you're pretty much kind of wasting your time because I found that actually like hammer through, I made over like close to 450 dials yesterday.
Yeah.
And
I
I
saw
did
that.
get a couple more, but they were pretty much, I'm not interested anyway, because I do
Yeah.
leave a couple voicemails because I have gotten callbacks for the ones that are really interested. They will call you back,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that they do answer the phone. And I have some that say they're not interested, and I just been quite honestly so busy I haven't really had the time just to say, what you want. But that's my next step, is I want to start to do like more of that drip campaign to say, and I have sent it out to the people, but I've just been doing like the Stonewood flyers and some flyers on general what IUL is. But I really want to amp that up and just start to have more of a drip that has some videos in it to educate them, to really
Awesome.
show them what it is. Because like I have one that I talked to yesterday, and he's like, I think, or no, actually I scheduled it Friday. I talked to him this morning, and he's just like, I really don't know what it is. I just saw it on TikTok.
Yeah.
And so it's like kind of hard because you're doing a discovery call, and then you're trying to get into the health to find out if there's any issues that they're going to qualify, but then they don't really know that much about it. So that's kind of my next step, is really trying to figure out how I can start to educate people more about the different processes and the benefits of IUL.
Yeah. Awesome. And you mentioned Stonewood real quick. Touch on that. What is
Yes, so
Stonewood actually?
Stonewood allows us to take, so if they want to put in $400 a month until they're 65 and they're like, say, 40, that 25 years, it'll illustrate what that looks like in an IUL versus a qualified account. And then it shows them just that difference in that tax savings. And then if taxes going up by just like 5% a year, and what it, looks like for them. And
Yeah.
it's hundreds of thousands of dollars more usually. And then they see how, beneficial and strong it is. And then when I do the illustration, I always point out and show them like, hey, even though you're taking the loans out of the policy, you see your account value is still going up because your money is still working for you, even though you're taking the loans. And you can't do
Yeah.
that in a 401k.
Yeah.
And, you're also protected, and it's not even just zero, it's 0.25. And after 10 years, you get another 0.25 persistency. And then you're in the Barclays, which is another, 1%, bonus.
Yeah.
So, it's like, the market can crash after 11 years, and you're going to get 1.5% in that Barclay allocated portion of the account. So it's better than the stock market in that. And then we just show the graphs that show like what it would
Yeah.
actually look like with that floor and the caps,
Yeah. No, that's great.
and
Yeah.
just try and make it visual.
No, it's great. And so it's just a software we use to simplify the
Yeah.
illustration, and it just dumbs it down and makes it super simple. It's just right in their face. I actually did one yesterday. I did a comparison on $700 a month put into the IUL versus he was considering reallocating some of the money that he was putting into a 401k that wasn't being matched, and it showed, I think, in this particular illustration, it was going to be $350,000 in that time frame after tax with the tax deferred, and with an IUL it was going to be closer to $500,000. So it just shows you apples to apples, and so yeah,
Hmm.
it's great. And so I think did I looked at some numbers the other day, and what I've gathered so far, it looks like on average you've been right around like 80 calls per day. Talk a little bit about that. I mean, just like, I mean, that's coming from final expense, that's hardly nothing, from my experience. Like, what are your?
Yeah. Well, because final expense, it's 10 to 20 leads a day, and this
Yeah.
is, 4 to 5 or so. So
Yeah.
it's not as many leads. And once,
Right.
you get through them and you keep up on them. So I don't look at my dials, honestly.
Yeah.
I just did yesterday because I did so many, but I don't look at my dials because I'm done when I'm done.
Yeah,
If you're
that's right.
going to work the leads and you're going to do it right,
Yeah.
you call till you're done. And so if it's 60, it's 60. And if it's
Yeah.
100, it is, and then I try and make calls on Saturdays. I work like pretty much every Saturday making the calls too, because I have so many people where I do reach them and I tag them in the CRM so I know. And then I'll be like, you need to call me after work. Because I could call them every day. They're going to be at work. They're going to say, isn't she listening to me? So I try and do that and then make sure I call them in the evenings. But then I kind of run out of time if I do get people. So then I try and make up on Saturdays. So it's a good day to get people.
Yeah, I don't want to downplay Jamie's work activity. I just want to tell you that because Jamie has come in and went to work from day one. I think she's a hard worker, and she put a lot of activity in with Final Expense, but she's also just continued doing that. And you've had some results, haven't you, Jamie? Like, tell me a little bit about that so far. Like about how much AP are you at now that you've submitted?
Right now, the AP sales, since we started this, let's see. So I've written 97,000, 248, and of course some of that's fallen through. Like Final Expense and everything else.
That's
it kind of just weird to me. Like I had one application was completely approved, and then it went for payment, and now he's ghosting me, and I'm like, who fills out insurance and does that, But yeah, I mean, you have it like anything else. And
I just want to be clear here. That's commissionable premium, right? We're tracking.
Yeah, that's AP. That is not what they're paying. That's like half.
And IUL, that's target AP. So I just want to be clear here and just let everyone know that is not just the annual premium, and target falls out of that. We are tracking target premium, so just under $100,000 and just really shy of 3 months. And Jamie, had you written an IUL before you started this platform?
No.
Okay, you'd never written.
No, I was familiar with illustrations because I've had whole life policies. So for 10 years, and so I like illustrations, and that's why I just really kind of gravitate to that, because I think it's crazy when people can see how fast their money can grow.
Yeah. And so do you feel like are in the beginning, you don't really need them as much anymore, and that was the goal, but in the beginning, all of the content on the Google Drive that we have, the folder, and then the calls that we have twice a week, do you feel like that helps you kind of get things going?
Yeah, I mean, you're there twice a week on the call. I don't, need to go anymore, but but you're there. You're available twice a week. Anybody can come on and ask questions, and then you have it more organized, and you're getting more. I was one of the first agents, so we didn't have some of the stuff, and we're building it. But
you're just building it. We built it from scratch.
We're building it, and you're available. Like if I need something right on, I can chat you, and you're there to answer the questions. I mean, a lot of it too is just playing with the illustrations to see how so you just get a better understanding and knowledge of it. And then I just called the company. One of the biggest things was just understanding all the underwriting and how to try and figure out if that was going to be an issue or not. So I've learned a lot with that. I mean, the first week I was probably on the phone with the company twice, like 2 hours a day. Every time I would get off the call, I'm like, oh, I got to call risk assessment again.
I know. I'm still kind of like that. I'm like, man, I just got off the call with them.
I'm like, oh, and then I started like saving them up. But that was like awesome. One of the biggest learning curves, but now, and then just the process, because I hadn't gone through the full type of underwriting with this type of insurance with just being Final Expense. So now it's like, okay, the process, what works. And then like Brandon gave tips on, when you do submit it, if there is another doctor for specialty, put that on there, and just kind of just all those things you can think about to save the time. Because I found like the underwriter asks a question, I get back to him right away, and it's like 4 days later, and I keep calling him like, how long is it going to take them to look at this again? But apparently anything like that, it takes them another like 3 days to look at it. So
that's awesome.
Learning the system.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And I think it's just like anything. You dive in, and as I was taught, you just you jump and you get your wings on the way down. And the cool thing is that we've proven that you can make money, you can cash flow while you're doing that, but because the system is really, it's you learn a few things on the front end, and then it's rinse and repeat from there. Cool. Last question, Jamie. You've had a couple of unique cases in the past week or so. Tell me about a couple of those that you'd mentioned.
Well, I had one guy, and he wanted to put at least, I think he was talking like putting in like 2,000 and then maybe lump summing 10,000 in. And then I'm like, well, why don't we just kind of like equal it out, whatever. So we ended up doing that. I talked to him, and then it was like right before a hurricane was going to hit our area, because he's actually in the same town as me, believe it or not, in Florida. So then I'm like, okay, I'll follow up. I didn't think much of it. And so I did follow up with him. We ended up talking to him on the phone, and we were going to go with 5,000 a month.
Wow.
So 5,000 a month.
How much of that was target?
That was the target.
Oh, wow. Wow. Gosh.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. Wait, no, I'm sorry. No, 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 I'm sorry. No, 5,000 a month. So the
Yeah,
target that was going to be 29,000.
yeah. So
The
altogether
29,000.
so
Yeah.
29,000 target case, one
Yeah.
deal. You just mentioned another one that you just spoke with this
Yeah,
morning.
I talked to somebody last week, and he came across as only like $1,000 lead or something, and then he talked to me about doing the illustrations. So when we went to Zoom, I did the 2,000 a month illustration, and he seems like a good prospect. And so I'm going through it all, and he's like, "Wow, that looks really good. This looks really good." I'm showing him and explained it all, how it's tax free and what it looks like. He's like, "Well, it'd actually be 5,000 a month."
Wow.
I go, "Oh, okay." And he's like, "Well, what would that look like?" So I just pulled it up. I edited it and showed him why we were still on Zoom and showed everything to him. And so then he was asking me about like tax write-offs and all that kind of stuff. And I said, explained to him that unfortunately the premiums aren't tax deductible. But
Yeah.
I said, but I
Yeah.
don't want to say for sure. Do
Pay your
not
taxes now. Yeah.
I said you have to pay, reach out to an attorney and a
Yeah.
professional. But technically, usually they're not, and then that kind of thing. So that was his only question he really had. He obviously at that amount he wanted to look everything over, and I'm supposed to follow up with him today. He really wants to have a high death benefit as well for his two daughters. So he actually wants to supplement that with 500,000 to 700,000 in protective life or in another policy, because I showed him, if we increase the death benefit here, it'll get you more insurance, but then your return's going to be less. So I walked him through all of that and showed
Yep.
that to him, and then showed him with and without the income, and just really took a lot of time educating him.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh, wow, you seem really knowledgeable in this and everything." And he felt comfortable. And I said, "Well, what are the questions you have?" And he said, "No, I just want to look it over." And so I'm
Yeah.
supposed to
No,
follow up today.
that's awesome. Awesome. Well, awesome, Jamie. Thank you so much for your time. And guys, if you're watching this, yeah, we are actually only looking to build really a small group of IUL agents that can work this platform, and we've got about 5 or so right now. And but really, we're just looking more of agents that want to grow their income. And maybe their niche that they're working in, kind of like what Jamie has done as well. So yeah, feel free to reach out to me. I think my email will be on a link below when this is posted, and look forward to having a conversation with you if you'd like to chat. Cheers.